You already know. Period.
Welcome back to Kamisha Reviews, the queen of reality TV. Well, we guys have been covering the mole, and so I do have a special guest in the background that I am excited to bring to the stage to just ask a few questions. Okay, we have Andy. Hello.
Hey,
Yes. Thank you for coming on my show. Let's just jump right into it. The Mole, the second season. I binged all episodes, which I do, as I did last season. It's been so exciting. I'm trying to figure out who the mole is. I don't know why this season it seemed like it's they made it a little more difficult for us, I feel like. So first of all, how did you get into the mole? Tell me about your intro story there.
yeah, sure. No, I'm a longtime fan. I'm a fan of the
Ah.
OG series from the early 2000s. And as a
Mhm.
family, we've really watched the Mole, the US versions. We've also found the versions all over the world we could watch. So we've watched the UK versions, the Australian versions, and in the Netherlands, it's really big. So
Oh
we
wow.
actually, every year, we watch the Netherlands versions, and it's in
Mhm.
Dutch language. And so we have to read the
Really?
subtitles. Yeah, the funny thing is that they all speak perfect English, but the show is recorded in Dutch, but they always curse in.
Okay. Interesting. So that's funny. The question, like, as far as did you decide to just go out for the show, or did is that what happened? Is that how you got started in it, or?
Indeed, no, I've been a fan, and I've been googling mole casting,
Ah, gotcha. That's where we
and
go.
I've got a hit last year, and was so excited to find that it was still open. So yeah, so that's so
That is
I
very exciting. Oh my god. I felt like Andy watching you. I was like, I thought Andy was figuring things out because I'm telling you that twist and turn when you was hitting it. I want you to kind of talk about that because I feel like that moment for you, you was doing it. Except for that last one, I feel like you would have got it, but you would. I know the mud was a factor as well. As you look at it now, look back at it. What do you? How do you feel about that whole scene?
and you're talking about the scene when we're trying to get the
Yes,
intruders when
yes,
I'm up
yes.
on.
The intruders, which was a really good element to the season as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, that was a really good puzzle and good game element because,
It
you
was.
know, the thing with the mole is you never know, is someone just not, because some things are just difficult to do.
Mhm, mhm,
And then some things you're sabotaging. So you don't know if a person is trying to be the mole, is the mole,
mhm.
or just
Yeah.
slipping in the mud. And from where I was sitting, I couldn't see the other players at
Mhm.
the time. So I was trying to figure things out because we did get that first shot,
Yeah.
and I did have the best seat in the house for that first shot, seeing it go right for my rifle, and I got the intruder. That was,
Wow.
but it is really hard to tell because it
Yeah.
was a hot day. It was definitely muddy,
Mm,
as shown very well in some of the shots,
yeah.
and it was an awkward thing to do.
Gotcha. So since you are a super fan, as we would call in Big Brother world, of the show, did you have any strategy going in the house?
I did, and I think they were very fair to me in what you see there. And my strategy on the first two quizzes was to just go and spread my votes as wide as I could. So I tried to get as much information on my fellow players so I could answer those questions, the census questions about like where someone's from or when they were born or that sorts of things,
Yeah.
and also just in general for the general population. So I had some suspicions, but I was concerned that if I acted on those suspicions so early, that would have been a problem. Who
Mm.
So instead, I did what I set out to do, which was to spread my votes. That's what I did.
So to figure out who the mole is, that element, that part of the show, would that, in your opinion, be the hardest part of the whole thing?
Well, it really is the game within the game because you don't know if the other 11 people, one of them is the mole, and probably most of the others are, including maybe me, are trying
Right.
to look like.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to, and as I said, some things are hard to do, so you separate it. So I did have, I did try to take a lot of notes when we had breaks and a chance to do that, of
Mhm.
what people did, where they stood, and certainly after the quizzes, I wrote that information down. But
Yeah.
geez, I was ready to start using that really from quiz three on. I was hoping spreading the votes was going to get me further than it did.
A lot of people had that. I think everybody had that as far as like that spreading the votes. Do you feel that is a good or a bad thing?
Well, I think it's a good thing, but it had a bad result. So I think I have a different view of it now, and I think it's really it's so fun watching the episodes, as a viewer, and it's been fun watching me watch other series. But you do get a different perspective, when you're there, and you get to have eyes on a lot of things. Some things you don't get eyes on at all. Some
Yeah.
things I didn't see until I watched the
Mhm.
episodes with everybody else. But if I allowed to do it again, I think spreading the votes is a safer strategy. But I do wish I acted on my suspicions. But that's how it
Mm. What do you think about alliances on this type of show? Alliances to me on these type of shows to me is a good thing to help you get further along. Would that hinder you in a game like this? What's your opinion about that?
Well, alliances on a show like The Mole are kind of tricky. I mean, I think ultimately you do have to trust no one, and
Mm.
it's not a situation of people voting for you or not voting for you. It's really, you do take the quiz yourself, and it's your result, which is something I like. So, uh, but an alliance can help players maybe send another player off in the wrong direction.
Mm.
That's a useful piece of information. If someone tells you how they voted, uh, can you trust them? I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, it is kind of iffy. Obviously, if you do have someone you're comfortable with, that could be very powerful information.
Well, we did have a couple essentially on the show, so good. They kind of had an alliance. Uh, I don't know, which I guess you kind of could call it that, even though it was a lot of backstabbing within that alliance alone. Jesus. So for you watching it, even though that's kind of an alliance, what do you think about that? Do you think that honestly that the other people in the house, including yourself, maybe should have gone that way? What do you think?
Well, I I guess I can't argue that maybe I should have done something different
Right.
since it didn't go very far.
Well,
But as I said, I think in one of the pieces of mine that they did use in it is that when the alliance is not just friends, but if there's a couple element, if
mm,
certainly from the outside there did look to be a
right.
romantic element, but you,
Gotcha.
you, you never know. Is that a
Yes.
facade they're putting on? Is that something to mess with our mind?
Mm,
I was concerned that if there does get to be a real, congruence and intimacy with two people,
mhm.
they could trust each other. So I was concerned about that from the outside looking in, and but I didn't really have a chance to see that play out too much.
Yes. I really feel like you was just getting there. I don't know why I feel like you was just like right there, like you was getting. I really think you would have been the one to say, you know what, I know, because you was figuring things out. In my opinion, I would take clues from you, mind you. I'm trying to figure this out on my own. So give me a nail biter situation, the challenges, or what an intense moment, the most intense moment in the house for you.
The most intense moment was when we started that raft floating towards the buoy,
Oh
because
my God, yes.
there were. I'm really proud that raft, the actual construction of the platform itself, actually, I think made it the entire production, and they even had it at the end. But
Yeah.
there were so many literally moving pieces to that, because the treasure chests were genuinely heavy. I mean, there's no way I could have lifted them. So I really,
Real big.
give props to the folks who lifted those things up.
Yeah.
At one point, I suggested, well, maybe we ought to just try one, because the two seemed like we were really biting off a lot.
Right.
That, when that thing took its first step, that's really, when I was holding my deepest breath. And then when it took its second step, I thought, well, maybe
Right.
we could do this.
Right. I have to ask, why did you use so much rope, Andy? Why did you?
No, and that this is
Oh
something.
my goodness.
No, this is something I thought of beforehand too, because it's one thing to tie knots, but a lot of knots can be easily undone with a slight slip around the corner. So I was trying to make the knots mole proof, so
Okay.
that they couldn't be undone. So that's why I was using a lot of rope, so that it wasn't just secure, but that it was not going to be messed. No one's going to mess with my knots.
Right.
And they did with, and considering how heavy those treasure chests were,
Man.
I think it turned out to be a good decision, because if they were not tied as tightly as they were, once a slight opening happened, then it starts
Right.
to wobble, and it's all over. And there's no way those strong folks could have carried that thing out to sea.
It looks so heavy. It looks so heavy. When you were in the water, because to me, I feel like with the mole, the different challenges, this season, I'm not sure, it's a little more intense. Like in that water, I was thinking to myself, like, they're going further away from land. I thought that was intense being in the water. I'm not a big swimmer, so if I was to just go to join a cast, like something like that would kind of freak me out. Like, I don't know, am I gonna make it back? Was that like rough? I'm not sure if you're a swimmer or not, but still, it looks scary to me, and that's because I'm scary.
Yeah, I'm really not a big swimmer either, but quite frankly, I felt safe. And
Okay.
they do run us through a swim test beforehand, so
Okay.
because of that, I felt I had additional confidence too in myself. And but I didn't feel secure enough to be able to be pushing the raft out there, so I went on and swam ahead to get on the buoy.
On the buoy, yes, you did, and I probably would have tried to do that one as well. Yes, you really kind of was MVP. I feel like in that situation. That's why I was kind of really disheartened to see what happened after. I was like, man, he really kind of killed it, even though they was suspecting you for everything. I'm like, wait a minute, he is the one that saved the day. I was so confused. But how did you feel about that? They were kind of targeting you a little bit, like suspecting you. Behind the scenes, they won't say that out loud, but because of the fact of the rope or whatever, how it came apart. I'm like, he wasn't even on that side. I was watching the rewind back and forth to see. What are your thoughts about that when it tipped over? Was it just, you think it just kind of happened, or was it sabotage?
Well, that's the beauty of this game. You never really know, right? Because the thing about sabotage from all the mole series that I've watched is that if you're too overt in the sabotage, then that messes with people's mind. Is that the mole, or is it just a player being overt? So it's really a subtle art to sabotage well as either a player pretending to be the mole or the mole. So that's the key mystery of this game, though, isn't it? You don't really know, and but it's a hard thing to do, putting those two chests with those weights that were pushed. The weights were the barrels were pushing up,
right?
We're pushing down, and you're trying to now swim with people we don't really know very well. And the first little bit we could walk out, but after not very long, it was swim.
Oh my God, I'm so scared. So I have to ask this final question. I have to ask this. A guess, because I know we don't know. Who do you guess is maybe the mole? Because I think it's still too early. Honestly, the mole doing a really good job this season. I'm struggling. Give me a guess. Who do you think it might be?
Yeah, no, I think the mole is doing a great job, and I don't want. You know what? Is it okay if I not guess? Because I don't want people to put too much.
Oh no! You know what? You good on that, because I haven't guessed my. Well, I may kind of keep in mind to myself as well, so I understand. No problem. I kind of want to keep the mystery. It's me do I do these shows. I'm not big on spoilers. I'd rather be surprised with everybody else. So I was just kind of getting your guess, because nothing, just kind of a guess maybe what you thought it would be. But I'm with you on that. Let's keep it right there. I appreciate you coming on here again, taking some time out your day. I know you are busy. I cannot wait to see the rest of the season. I know you're watching with us. Do you have anything coming up in reality TV, or anything you could talk about this time, or at all?
No, I do not. I'm sitting on the sidelines, just checking my email and phone.
Well, with that being said, this is Kamisha Reviews, the queen of reality TV, and thank you, Andy, for coming on. I'll put all your information in the description so they can follow you on your social media. Again, thank you for your time. All right, guys. Sorry, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I want you guys to know, and that nothing that will never change about this, I am the queen of reality TV. Don't get it twisted and don't doubt it. It is